Today, we're looking at the KT Gold Nexus EA. So this one caught my eye because the equity curve actually looked rather legitimate. And I'm always curious to see when you have a real strategy or a seemingly real strategy, how it's trading and what the logic behind the bot really is. So here we can see that he's claiming that it's a professional system built for trading gold and that it uses a proprietary machine learning model which is based on multiple technical indicators. And he's saying that it uses anything from the ATR, the smoothed RSI, the Laguerre indicator, and effectively it's using this to manage multiple positions where effectively it will split one position into 10 separate orders to likely minimize slippage and to make something which is just easier to trade with. And it's quite neat actually because we can see that, at least from his MyFX screenshot here, it's looking to be a real equity curve. And all of these screenshots here too, while they are obviously quite good because they've been done over a long period of time, clearly these are not fake equity curves, right? We have drawdowns, we have peaks and troughs, and that's usually a pretty good sign. Because sometimes on MQL5 you will see these beautiful perfect straight lines up, which are almost always a sign that it's clearly fake. So we're not seeing that here. He's saying that it's not using grids or anything crazy or high risk strategies, which we are all too familiar with here on the MQL5 marketplace. But I'm curious as to if it's really trading more of a breakout or a mean reversion, or what's the real strategy behind it. If we look at the actual signal here, he's been running it for, I think, a few months by now, and granted it's up 11% over a few months, so very, very legitimate. And we are seeing he is trading with micro lots. It does look to be like more of a swing trading system too, but many of them are closing at the same point. So it's almost like he's entering multiple positions, but he is perhaps using some sort of strategy with a close at a similar time. So it's also quite neat. And we can see that it is roughly a 1-to-1 risk reward with a 63% win rate. So looks real, like it's pretty short, right? We only have a handful of trades here, so we don't know for sure how it works. But overall, it's looking quite solid. So now I actually ran a back test here on Vantage. And as we can see, it is running it does look like a real equity curve. And here we are turning $10,000 into around $12,000 with a 3.3% drawdown. Realistically, we could probably triple the leverage here and go for a 60% return with still a fairly modest drawdown. As we can see, it is very much matching the live signal actually. The statistics are pretty much the same with roughly a 1-to-1 risk reward and around a 65% win rate. And he does appear to actually have a few different filters here as well. He also has some different alerts and protectors to make sure that we actually can execute the positions well. We are seeing some other things which are matching from the live signal. If I move my head back down, that there are multiple trades closing at the same time, and he also seems to open many positions at once, like in line with what he's saying in the actual sales page too, and he's spreading out the orders with different exits. So Wim does this pretty frequently with his strategies too, where if you were to, so Profalco Limited, if you enter a zone, he has a bunch of different orders resting there, and there are different methods of managing those positions. He appears to be doing something pretty similar here, where there are different methods of managing the positions, and he is being a little bit selective with that too. So overall, it looks pretty interesting, and it's definitely matching what he says it's doing, which is a great sign. Because if you're able to kind of reconcile the live trades with the back test, that's usually a good sign. And now here we can see that there's a boatload of indicators. Some of them are based on ATR, some are based on Arun, some are based on VWAP. I don't know how he's getting a VWAP for Forex. Maybe he's using some sort of tick volume or something like that. Different RSIs. So it appears to be very indicator based. And let's now look at the back test to see maybe if there's commonalities in times. He's closing a lot of positions at 2040, which is matching the live signal too. So perhaps he does have a filter where if any position is open by this time, just close. And that could, here we go, exit on Friday exit time. That makes sense. So he has something where he will close if there's any positions open on the Friday. And now the final check we can see here is if he's going to, okay, this is a careful thing to be mindful of. He's only going long on gold, which is perhaps a little bit risky, just because if he's only going long on gold and he's ran this for 3 months, we could be partially overfitting to a really strong uptrend in gold. Unless he has a fundamental reason as to why he's doing this, you have to be a bit careful. Granted, I have many long-only bots, right? And I do it because, like with equity markets, for instance, because of the prevailing long bias, you can use that in your favor. But you'd have to ask him pretty much, like, hey, was this done purposefully because you think that the prevailing long bias in gold is improving it, or is he just overfitting to the system? So you have to be a little bit careful there if you see somebody doing just unidirectional bots. And I'm obviously would be the biggest hypocrite if I say don't do this, because many of my bots are unidirectional, but you need to usually have a logical reason behind that. But overall, real strategy, I think the points of failure might be that it's a bit too indicator heavy, so perhaps there's a bit of over optimization going on, but you really need to be aware of what he's doing here. And also, because it's opening so many different orders, maybe your total daily risk could be more significant than you'd like. So real strategy, it looks to be like the sales page is matching backtest. It looks pretty interesting, actually. There's a whole variety of different entries, where the downsides are more like it's probably using a lot of indicators, and at the same time, you never really know how he developed the system. And if he developed it in a non-robust way, it could very well break. But overall, looks pretty solid. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.